All right, so this is Darla. I'm going to show you our little process when she first came to me. So what I'm doing is hand feeding. I'm getting her to learn to come into me. I'm also giving myself a lot of value by feeding her, so by hand feeding her. So every time you come to me, you get a reward. So we spent about 3 days on this. She was a quick steady. She's ready. She remembers. We haven't done it for a while. Getting her to come into me and, obviously getting a reward out of it. Basically, it's just making me a really valuable person. So all her meals, everything that she got came directly from me. What I'm also doing is moving, and you'll see how that goes. I'm getting her to move towards me. This is what really helped us with some of the leash work that you're going to see later on. She's getting impatient. You're doing great. Good girl. So this is what really helped us with some of the leash work later on, which you'll see. We started off where she didn't want to take food from my hand at all. It's not that she was afraid of me, it's that she felt, honestly, that she didn't understand what was going on, and what's mine she couldn't have. Well, what's mine becomes yours when you earn it, and I'm going to teach you how to earn it. Good girl. So for whoever takes her on, this could be helpful for you. You may not do it at all, but this leads up to some of the leash work that we did down the road, making it really, really easy. You'll see how it goes. To bring her focus back to me. I'm basically the most important thing to a very highly food motivated dog. So, and this is just her regular kibble. We do it with treats too. You'll see I move a lot. I want to encourage movement. I want her coming into me. Yes, good girl. Free. And then I mark it with a yes. Yes is predictive that she's about to get some food, so if I'm slow with it, no big deal. It's called marker training. Some people use a clicker. I use my voice. Movement gets movement. If I want her to go a certain way, I'm going to move a certain way. This is also how we start teaching a dog a recall. Darla. Yes, good girl. So normally when I teach a recall, I want the dog to sit when they come to me. For her, it's a bit strange, so I don't ask that of her. I just ask her to be focused on me. Free. Free means I'm kind of done with you, but she's not done with me, right? Yes. So initially, when we first started this protocol, I didn't use any words at all except the word yes. So I started conditioning her to the marker, and that means you've done what I said. Now she's interested in the camera. Very focused on me, so I'm going to throw a piece of food away. Darla. Yes, good girl. So the movement gets movement. I started adding verbal cues over time. Initially, it was just drawing her into me with the food to get her to come to me. When I want her to leave, free. Tell her she's free. She tried to come right back, so I'm going to throw a few more pieces down. Her nose isn't that great. She's not finding them. So here, she saw that one. Darla. Yes, good girl. Good job. Good girl. Darla. Yes, good girl. So this was a big help with us. We eventually introduced the slip lead and basically did the same thing, except maybe I would put some pressure on the leash, which I didn't have to do a whole lot of because she was pretty much in tune with me anyway. Darla. Darla. Yes, good girl. So she was too busy sniffing around. She didn't come to me when she heard her name. She thought there might be more food on the ground, so I'm just going to remind her. Free. Right back to me. Awesome. So that's exactly what I want. I want her to always be coming right back to me. Yes. It makes our leash work that much easier. Darla, good girl. Yes. On her way to me, I was just encouraging her with a good girl. You made the right choice by acknowledging that I called your name. Free. Darla. Good girl. Yes, good job. So that's how we built some motivation, and we built a pretty great handler focus with her, which is quite a feat for a very, very dog reactive dog. You're so good. I love you. I love you. And she's very gentle taking food. That's nice. You're a good girl. All right, so stay tuned and you'll see some of the leash work that we did. And how we got her to the point that she is now starts right here. All right, good girl. Now she's gonna get the rest for free because she worked hard today. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do a little Leash 101 with Darla. She's pretty sensitive, so we're just using a slip lead. She's not paying much attention. There's a dog in the background. So when you first get her started to take her out, you're probably gonna do a little bit of back and forth. You'll see sometimes I kind of tug on the leash a little. It's a slip, so it's gonna apply a little pressure, let her know that she needs to come back to me. Hand feeding is how I explained to her that that's what she's supposed to do. So let's see how rusty we are. You ready? And I've been telling her to heel when I want her to walk beside me. Darla, heel. Good girl. She pulls out a head, I give it a little tug. Heel. Oh, good girl. So she did that one on her own. Heel. Good girl. Darla, heel. Good girl. Good girl. Where'd you go? Oh, good girl. Nope. Nope. Good girl. Don't look at the ground when you do this because you'll get dizzy. But eventually, oh, good girl. Good girl. So she's remembering pretty quickly what she's supposed to do, even though we haven't worked on it because of all the snow we've had. Darla. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And then I'll reward her for stopping with me and making eye contact. Good girl, Darla. Good girl. So when she's focused on me, I'll let her know that's a good thing. Okay. Heel. Good girl. Darla, heel. Oh, good girl. So I try to talk her through and let her know that I'm about to turn, so it's not taking her by surprise. Good girl. And you can see now we have a nice loose leash. I'm not pulling on her. She's not pulling on me. Good girl. And I'm not choking my dog. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, hey. And I did give her a little bit of a warning. I just said, hey, hey, when I was getting ready to stop, just to get her attention so she didn't accidentally forge ahead. Darla. Hi. Darla. Her nose is going.
There's too many smells.
Where's that other dog? I smell it. Good girl. Okay. Leash 101. So when you go to take her out the front door, good girl. You go to take her out the front door, she's going to want to probably forge ahead. I don't let her rush through barriers, so hopefully that'll stick. But she's probably going to want to forge ahead, new environment, lots of different smells. So you might spend a minute or two in your driveway going back and forth, and your neighbors think you're crazy, but she will remember what she's supposed to do and stay close to you. Huh, good girl. Just because I have so much of her focus, I'm still rewarding that. We spent a lot of time building that, so I want to make sure she understands it's still the right thing to do. The important thing to remember with her is that she's not a very hard dog. She's pretty easy. So hopefully my camera will focus on the leash in my hands right now, and I can show you how we actually apply a leash correction. So you're gonna see happen a little bit faster is I'm gonna pull on it, but I'm gonna put my slack back. Pull on it, slack. If I leave, yes, I know, girl. If I leave constant tension on it, she's likely gonna push into it. So you also see that I hold my leash in two hands a lot of times when I'm doing Leash 101. If I run out of slack here, okay, if I run out of slack here, I can find it right here. So I've kept that as a backup in case she gets too far away. I know. So let me see if I can demonstrate that a little bit better actually in real time. Watch where you are. Good girl. Get close. Hey, good girl. So I pulled into myself and gave it right back. Good. And I'm not even having to pull hard. She's very, very soft and sweet. Okay. Pretty sure we're in the frame, Darla. So now I'm going to kind of show you how I got her focusing a little bit more on me rather than another dog. So now her interest is peaked. This dog is a female.
both dogs. So hopefully we'll get kind of a poor reaction out of Darla, so I can kind of show you the process of what we did. Being under snow and ice for over a week and a half, I'm hoping, counting on that she's a little stir crazy and rusty. We'll see. She's also used to always being on my left when we're walking. So I'm going to kind of disengage with her, make her think I'm not doing anything with her. I'm going to let her get curious and make whatever decision she's going to make. If she decides to start lunging towards the other dog, watch how I use the leash, watch how I pull her back into me, and then we'll kind of feather that in and out, in and out, in and out until we get a little more comfortable. So I'm going to throw some food to the other dog and see if the other dog jumping and moving might startle her. No. Good girl. So I just kind of pulled her back. Now we're a little interested. Oh, good girl. In the beginning, this was a lot harder to do. Can you fight? No, we don't do that. So I'll let her walk up. Now she's not paying any attention. Just move her in like a circle. Thanks. She's looking. She's redirecting on her own. She chose not to make a decision. That's awesome. Good girl. Come here. Princess. No. Oh, good girl. So that was a gentle lunge. She wasn't as intense as she usually used to be, but you might get that kind of intensity out of her, so you've got to be ready to remind her that she can't be doing that. And it's not that difficult. She's rather would be dealing with you anyway. Huh, sweetie? You're a good girl. So I'll throw her another treat. Got a good grip on my leash. This hand might be a little slow, but I'm going to do my best to control the situation. No. When she does what I want, I'm going to start encouraging her even more. So I'm going to spin her around so she can see what happens. Ooh. Let's go. Oh, she's my good girl. That's my good girl. Thanks. Oh, good girl.
Your throw was bad.
That was good. That was good though. So you saw her stiffen. You saw her start to want to go for it. Yes, she would resource guard against another dog. And that moment of focus is what we want to actually stop. So I'm going to try to achieve that again. I'm going to try to achieve that again, and hopefully we just had a vehicle pull up so she's distracted. Hopefully I can catch it sooner so you can see how it needs to go. You're doing too good. You're doing way too good, Darla. Good girl. Good girl. So that split second of thinking about going after the food, I want to stop it there so that I don't have a bigger problem and end up having to wrestle two dogs apart. Because I promise you that dog would probably win. You're wonderful. Alright, so now we're going to kind of try to go through the same thing with her with another dog. This dog is going to get real vocal. We're going to try to get him vocal. So we'll get a little more intensity out of her hopefully, but the standard's kind of the same when it comes to how to deal with that with her. And again, you know, I've got some food here for her to keep her interested in me. Not a lifelong thing, but it's been a little over a week since we've been outside in the nice weather, so I have to up my game a little bit. No. So I gotta up my game and really, really remind her how we started this off. No, Darla. No. Good girl. So the more animated he gets, the more excited she gets. And I'm going to just keep rewarding her focus. She looks to my treat bag and then she looks to my face. No, no. No, no. go there, not yelling at her, not mad at her, just letting her know that that's the wrong direction to take things. And then try to kind of pay attention to how I work the leash. Again, it's in and out, in and out. I'm not ever going to try to be constant on it, so it's important that I have extra slack if I need it. Dog vocalizing, she obviously gets more intense, so I might have to be a little firmer with her. Hey, stop. I might have to be a little firmer with her, but I never really have to escalate too high. She's really wants to be doing what you want to be doing. Loses her mind a little sometimes and forgets that she's not supposed to do those things, but it's pretty rare and it's getting better and better. We also just clipped her nails and she did fantastic. She didn't even fidget. She was just happy you were touching her. So go ahead and get Wrigley speaking again.
Wrigley, speak. 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 Speak.
No.
Speak.
So that first little bit of intensity.
Yes.
Oh, good girl. She comes back to me. It's a good girl. But you notice the second time I did have to be a little firmer with my leash. Again, I'm not trying to choke her. I'm just kind of tapping her on the shoulder, and if she doesn't listen, sometimes I have to tap louder, and that tap is doing this with the leash. We can try again.
Wrigley, speak. 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 Speak.
No. No.
Wrigley, speak. Speak. Yes.
She's also getting really frustrated because she thinks I have food in my hand and I don't. So now that's frustrating her, and now him barking is him asking for something, probably from me if you ask her, and she's basically going to tell him, no you can't, that's mine. It's not very polite to not want to share with your friends,
Yeah.
but she kind of thinks they're all out to steal her lunch money.
Very much
And she thinks that everything's for her. Sweet little girl like her can be kind of selfish. So go ahead and work regularly.
Speak. 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 Speak.
Yes, good girl. So I don't know if you saw that. She caught herself. I'll try to slow motion it when I split this up. So she went looking at me to, no, I didn't have to do anything. So her little week off of real practice is all coming back to her. Whoever takes over with this little girl is just going to have to repeat the steps the same. Her association with the new person handling her needs to be the same as it is with me. I don't like when you do those things. I'm going to tell you not to do those things. If you let her take an inch, she's going to take a mile because she's a dog. Your timing needs to be really good. No. See what I mean? No. Your timing needs to be good. Good girl. And it will just continue to get better the more that you work with her. She's very torn in between figuring out what's going on with him and paying attention to me. And again, we've just been out of practice. No. No. Good girl. So that was just a quick no, and we were good to go. Huh. Hey, no.
She really doesn't like when he does weird behaviors.
She's frustrated. Hey, Darla. Oh, good girl. So sometimes, if we're, I'm trying to talk to you and manage all this at the same time, but if we continuously have slip-ups and slip-ups and slip-ups, then I'll go back to the start, which is get him jumping or doing whatever she didn't like.
Ready. Ready. Ready.
Hey, good girl. And then I'll just start to back away with her and interact. It's all about me, Darla. It's all about me and you. Don't worry about that knucklehead. He thinks he's a circus dog. Me and you, we're good. And it's pretty simple to reel her back in now. She was pretty hard in the beginning, but it didn't take long. So that's Darla. Darling Darla. Okay. Thank you, Wrigley. Thank you, Darla.